My adult years in Hungary is at a very turmoil type of thing. Born in 25, and the Russians came in 45. So naturally, I did not have too much formal wear in Hungary, but while in Canada, in the 60s, there was still quite a bit of formality. And for which reason my tuxedos and my tail jacket had to be made after I came to Canada. The material was either bought here or in England and was sent home to Mr. Laszlo. This tail jacket was made by Mr. Laszlo for a Hungarian Helicon ball of Toronto. And I had it twice on. And the reason was that when in the Hungarian Helicon ball in those days, if you were a debutante, the father had to take you, and the father had to wear a tail jacket. And I thought that I might as well have a tail jacket made for me. You can imagine I didn't need it too much because I had it only 2 or 3 times in my life on, but it was made for such a thing for this debutante and my niece's daughter, who spent a year here to learn English, and it was just the time when the Helicon ball was on. She wanted to be a debutante, so the debutante was, they all had to wear white dresses, fathers had to wear tail jackets, and the ball was always with an initial debutante's waltz. And for such a debutante ball was made this type of jacket. Otherwise, it was a dinner jacket, and it did depend what type of cummerbund you were wearing. For the tuxedo, you had to wear a black cummerbund. But being old-fashioned, it was considered to be that if it was warm weather, you could not wear a black suit, not even in formal event. And for this reason, you had to wear a white dinner jacket. Tuxedo was never white, because the white tuxedos was for the waiters. So the white tuxedo was cream type of thing. So this was one of the tuxedos which Mr. Laszlo made, and I know the material. At that time we went to Scotland, so the material is Scottish, and it was taken to Hungary, and I wore it a few times when I had to go to a warm climate to wear it. But
and what did you wear for trousers?
To this, it was the black trousers to be worn.
With the side stripe or just black trousers?
The black one with the stripe on the side, it was like which you were wearing for a tail jacket or for a tuxedo. For each of them there have been a trouser. To this one you were wearing the tuxedo trousers. And if you were very fashionable, then from the do you call this part of the Rivera?
Yeah, the lapel?
Yes, from the same material, if you went to a shoemaker, you made a silk shoe. It was a shoe made. That shoe was made in today's Croatia, in Zagreb. And I even know the name of the shoemaker. His name was Strugar. So it had to be a silk shoe with a very soft leather inside. And eventually it was not very worn off. If it's worn off, it was only in the ballrooms. But as you could see, it is inside leather and outside silk. So this was made for the very formal wear. And even for this, for the white jacket, you had to wear a black shoe. If it was black shoe, it was either a black patent leather that you could wear to anything, or if you were very fashionable, and this is for me a made-to-measure type of shoe, which was made from the material of one of the tuxedos to the outside, and I think you could see it is a little bit worn out. In the more modern time, a cummerbund, but truly to the tail jacket, you had to wear a vest. Either a vest or in the modern type, that is the only one which is not made to measure over there, and that I was wearing to the tail jacket, that it should appear to be, it would be, originally it was made to the vest, but that is very difficult to make because a vest had to be very much fitting, and even if you were 3 or 4 pounds heavier, it did not fit anymore. You also had to the tail jacket, it was a white tie. It would have been never a ready-made bow with a type of thing. You had to make the bow yourself. And if you were very well fashioned, you could not wear, particularly not to a tail jacket, a coat, but you had to wear a cape. So this was the cape made for the tail jacket. And it had to be inside, it had to be always white silk, because only Lucifer would have red silk inside. Though that was also by Mr. Laszlo. Okay. And you could see it is an old-fashioned type of tightening here. Also to that, you had to wear white gloves. I don't think that this was made, but you also had glove makers. So many times the gloves, they would be made to measure. This is a commercial white glove.
So those are kid. You would wear leather gloves?
Likely, yes.
Yes, okay.
Mm. So it's not Mr. Simpson. The glove fits. The right hand, you never had to glove on unless you danced. Because the lady may give you hands, or you had to have her hands to kiss the hands, for which reason your right hand was, and the right glove was in your left hand. So that was a fashionable wear, to have the gloves.
So you only touch the woman's hand with your bare hand or your gloved hand?
No, it was always, you took her hands in your right hands. Unless you danced, you should not touch her, then you put your gloves on. To the cape, you had to wear a shawl. And it could be, it should fit, therefore it was white and probably with some black thing on, which went to the black cape. And you had to have a handkerchief in the pocket, and I probably should speak about it because I don't think you have a second one in your collection. This is a special pocket type of handkerchief. This one is a very special type of lace, which is not put on a pin, but it is made with a needle, and it is called halashi lace, and it is always, halash is a small thing. If you would translate it, it is considered, hal is fish, and if they made it in each type of thing, they had to sew in a little piece of fish. This is the only town which they made it, and it was made by a high school teacher who found out how to make with needles a type of lace. And it is still possible. They make it for handkerchiefs or for collars of women, and occasionally in a little doily on the thing, and it is called halashi lace. And that was in the pocket. Naturally, the way it was made like this, and only this part was out. So that went in the pocket.
And you would wear that with the tails and the tuxedo?
With the tuxedos and with the tail jacket, I was wearing this type of handkerchief.